on? Is it on? Is it on? Oh my god, it is. Oh, you thought you were expecting the Johnny Gargano intro. Oh, or any other wrestler that has talked about the Bob Culture podcast. Oh, well, lucky for you, we don't have that because tonight, right now, it is the Kimmy Takeover podcast. So welcome to the show, and I hope you all are ready for a night of honorable predictions, so many surprises, and Kimmy Takeover.
All right.
No. Rob, this ain't your show. You don't even get to do an intro. You don't even get to, no. Welcome, everyone, to the KTP, the Kimmy Takeover podcast. We are here. We are live. We are talking all about Ring of Honor Final Battle. And I had to bring in some really good friends of mine. But before we do that, we have to thank our wonderful sponsor for the month, because we have to pay our dues. We are brought to you by our friends at Funkenstein Wrestling Superstore. So thank you for sponsoring our show for the month. But like I said, this is not the Bob Culture podcast. We are at the KTP, the Kimmy Takeover podcast, and I had to bring in my bestest wrestling friend in Staten Island. She is my dynamic duo, because I'm pretty sure she's the only other female in Staten Island that likes wrestling. The one and only from the Damage 365, Skylar Hand. What's up, bestie?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for letting me on again. I'm excited. I always love doing these with you guys. It's always fun. Thank you.
No problem. I mean, I had to bring you in. And the other person that we have here.
Hi, I'm Vicious Vivacious Vixen from Vineland, New Jersey. Vicky, I love Rob. I don't know if you know, I look a little different, but here I think I do that a lot. I curtsy a lot. And I got a haircut, so I look a little different. But I got titles, and I'm coming for all of you.
I had an intro for you. Like,
I know, but it's okay. Sorry, sometimes I slip in and out of consciousness. It's just
like,
I know.
Like, I had a written intro here.
Go for it.
A lot of time on it.
Go for it. I just need to break Rob.
Okay. So anyway, before I was really interrupted on my own show, the literal person who let me on the Tony Khan media call, that I got called on, in case y'all didn't know, the one and only Bill Bodkin. Hi.
Bill.
Hey, I'm not Vivacious Vixen, Victorious Vicky. I'm Bill Bodkin, editor-in-chief of the PopBreak.com, co-host of the Socially Distanced podcast, which drops every single Friday on all your favorite streaming platforms. And some would say I am Mr. Final Battle. Why? Because I've been to many of them. I've been to more Ring of Honor shows than everyone on this panel combined. That's true. I was there when they first crowned the champion. I was there when the Great Muta headlined the 2003 Final Battle. I was there 2 minutes from my childhood home with Kenta and Loki. I was there when Kevin Steen pointed out my buddy's Funny Equals Money signed for Colt Cabana in 2013. I've seen Ricky Steamboat, CM Punk, and you name it. Rexplex. If you know, you know. Mr. Ring of Honor right here. Not Bobby Cruz. Not Tony Khan. Bill Bodkin.
Well,
or Vicious Victoria Vixen. Whatever you want to call me. It's fine.
Well, for that first show, I have to remind you, I was 2 years old, so I don't think it was
I'm
possible.
41. Happy birthday to me. You made a video for me, and it was lovely. Thank you.
Bud.
Oh, thanks. And Rob's here too, guys. He's here. Hi.
No sound. I'm used to that.
The eye candy of the podcast, getting all two women to watch it. It's Rob Williams.
Yeah, I'm used to that. Thank you, Kimmy, I guess, for taking over. I'm just going to be a panelist, but Kimmy, you're killing it. Do your thing, and I'll be doing tech, so I'm not ignoring you guys. And guys, you know the deal. Join the chat, share the stream. Kimmy, what you got?
Of course, I have a whole list because, Rob, unlike you who goes on Wikipedia to look at the matches, I have it written out on a notebook, very organized. So you're welcome, everybody. But yeah, here we are, 7 matches for this wonderful Ring of Honor card. And we are going to start with the Trios Tag Team Championships because we have Dalton Castle and the boys versus the Gates of Agony and Brian Cage. Skylar, I'm going to go to you first. Who do you have in this match?
Dalton and the boys.
She's not a silly goose, everybody.
They're good. He's an amazing character. I don't like Brian Cage. Cage?
Yeah.
Cage.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't like him, so I don't want them.
No one does. It's okay. No one likes him.
Oh, usually when I say that, again.
No. You're good. Rob, what do you think?
I was thinking about this one driving around today. I think Dalton is so popular right now.
So hot right now.
Yeah,
so hot.
For
so
sure.
Hot.
I think looking at it from a business perspective, it makes a lot of sense to put it on Dalton, who's kind of slowly riding that momentum right now. There's been a lot of Dalton on Dark. We saw Dalton on Dynamite a few times. Obviously, the ROH ties make a lot of sense. Then I'm thinking the other way, like guys like Brian Cage, like, is this kind of like, I got to stop thinking this way, but I don't want to say consolation prize, but is this like, Brian Cage has been gone for a while. Now he's back with this group. Would they put it on them? I think the gold stays with Dalton and the boys.
Wow, we're all agreeing. This is not a good start for us, guys. Bill, do you have a different answer?
Don't worry. Get your tinfoil out, kids, because it's story time with Bill Bodkin, because wild conspiracies abound. So this might not be the match we get, because there's another trio that is definitely looking to make their debut at this show. Now, this much could happen at the 0 hour, which will be their free 1 hour YouTube show. But it was revealed that the new La Facción Ingobernable, which is Roosh, Preston Vance, Sans Mask, and Drolistico from AAA, are going to be at Final Battle. It would not shock me if we get an impromptu 3-way, and if that happens, La Facción Ingobernable will win the titles, because like Rob was saying, well, first off, Dalton on Dynamite, I hope he listens to this podcast, is just like, I'm going to steal it. And then, because that's my bad Dalton Castle impersonation. And so he's way too popular just to keep in Ring of Honor, kind of like you kind of want him on Dynamite because he's so weird and he's very popular. But I could see if they don't make it a 3-way, they will be at the top of the ramp at the end to challenge for the trios title for sure. That's going to happen, I think. And if it doesn't change, I do believe I'll be boring and I'll say Dalton and the boys somehow, some way beat 700 pounds of pure beef in the Gates of Agony. The Embassy is what they are. They're the Embassy. So they will beat them, and Brian Cage will live another day to do big beefy things.
Well, I thank you under tinfoil. Yes.
Oh, don't worry. There's so much foil.
I know.
I've got an industrial gross of it back there.
That makes me so excited. Obviously, I'm also picking Dalton Castle and the boys, because why the hell not? Remember, guys, Dalton Castle's not signed. Only the boys are signed. I think a lot of people forget that, but as reported by Sean Ross Sapp earlier this week, there's a lot of people that we don't know are signed to Ring of Honor.
Dalton Castle's signed.
Okay, but he doesn't have a graphic yet, okay? I can't be exposing all these insider secrets, Bill. What kind of insider am I?
An insider.
Well, an insider.
Yes.
But yeah, I think Dalton Castle is signed because Tony Khan would be the biggest silly goose to ever exist if he didn't have him signed.
Be a
That's my opinion.
silly goose if you don't sign the Peacock,
Yeah, I know.
I guess. But speaking of tag teams, Swerve in Our Glory the tag team that we thought was broken up, but Tony Khan was like, wait a second, we got other plans for you, because another person who I believe is signed, Shane Taylor and JD Griffey. Rob, are you singing Swerve in Our Glory, or do you think Shane Taylor Promotions gets the win?
Got to shout out Shane Taylor Promotions. I think that's really cool. I don't know if they are signed in any official capacity. Seeing them show up on, I believe it was, seeing Shane show up, it was Rampage, I believe, where he showed up in a backstage segment with Keith Lee. I popped big for that. My first interaction was interviewing, and here's the first shameless promo, popbreak.com. I got an interview, what was it, 2-3 years ago. Shane Taylor, check it out on the site, thepopbreak.com. We talked about his relationship with Keith Lee. So this was really cool. I felt that Shane should have been there sooner, personally, but it's so cool to see him. I think this is kind of a perfect spot. I know I'm contradicting myself, but I was really excited to see him. I think it makes perfect sense because him and Lee were in a tag team together. Now we have the tension, obviously, between Swerve and Lee. I'm really excited for the in-ring work. I think everyone's going to hit their spots. This could, make sure I'm using this word right, Kimmy, low-key. This could low-key be match of the night. That being said, I'm having trouble with this one. Let's go with Keith Lee and Swerve to take the L to further that dissension. Maybe a little conversation to keep going through the storytelling between Shane Taylor and Keith Lee. Not to take away from the other guys in the match, but you can tell I'm very hyped for this one.
I see. Very, very interesting thoughts. Bill, what do you think?
I think Shane Taylor Promotions is going over because much like Keith Lee did to Swerve Strickland is going to do to Keith Lee. He's going to leave him in the dust. And I believe Shane Taylor Promotions could easily ally themselves with Swerve going forward. Of course, I would also would be remiss if I did not bring up the name of Shane Taylor and Keith Lee's tag team, the Pretty Boy Killers, one of the great tag team names to ever happen, and sadly did not get a mainstream run. I'm also surprised Shane Taylor did not sign with Impact. He seemed like he was tailor-made for Impact, but he's here now. I think they're going to go over. I think you need to make them look strong, and I think Swerve swerves everyone and leaves Keith in the dust.
So I'm going to pick Swerve in Our Glory because I think after the fact, that's where Keith Lee's going to get his retribution and be like, you know what, I'm not over this, and then beat him up. That's my wild prediction. That's probably not going to happen. Skylar, what do you think?
Bill and Rob took everything that was in my brain and said it.
Sorry.
Not in a bad way. No. I just it's cool to get the same thoughts. But I think Swerve in Our Glory is losing because I think they just want big names in these pay-per-views. And then after this, if they lose, it's gonna be like even more damage for them to finally break up. And yeah, and then we're gonna get Swerve versus Keith Lee, which will be another great match they do.
Very true.
Yes. So we're going to stick with the tag teams. We're just going to get all tag teams out of the way because this past Wednesday, we saw FTR lose clean to the Acclaimed. And then we found out that they are not versing the Ass Boys. Thank God. And they are going to do Briscoes versus FTR 3. But this is not just any type of match because we are entering dog collar territory. And Bill, I know you tell me every single time there's a dog collar match, they're amazing, they're great, and they're wonderful, and I tell you that they're not. So tell me why I'm completely wrong.
Because you are. Like, dog collar matches, these four are going to destroy each other because they believe in the art of tag team wrestling 100%. And they are going to channel all the old school dog collar tag matches that are out there. They're going to reference them. They're going to pay homage to them. And then they're going to put that modern spin on it. These teams, like, we had 5 minutes of build for this. And everyone's like, sold me a ticket because those first two matches are so incredible. And they're going to want, these are two teams that are going to want to top what they did. They're consummate tag team professionals. They're going to want to make it a classic. And I think they will. And I think I am going to be the odd person out here because I'm picking FTR to do the clean sweep. I think they beat the Briscoes for a third time. I do think there's other stories to be told here, but I really believe that it's going to be the Briscoes taking the L here because I think it's too obvious. It's like, oh, they lost here. You're going to have FTR lose twice within 4 days. I don't know. Like I said, I'll be in the minority on this because everyone's like contracts and this and that. Now, could this all be a reverse psychology storyline where they drop the AAA, IWGP, and ROH titles only to win the belts they want the most in the AEW tag titles at Revolution? Very possible. But I still think this is not the time nor the place for them to drop those titles because you can't really have the Briscoes on TV because of stuff and things. So I'm going to say FTR walks out the winners.
So that's a choice. And I do agree. And I said that on Elite POV that the Briscoes aren't allowed on TV. And then they all yelled at me and said that what I was saying isn't true. And I was like, people, research your shit.
And if anyone wants to know why, it's because a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, called Twitter, Jay Briscoe said some very homophobic things, and they were quite acidic and acerbic. They were shitty. They were really bad. And he has apologized for them. And a lot of people vouch for him that he has learned from his mistakes. But Warner Brothers Discovery is like, no, those are still out there. That's not something we want on our TV. Briscoe's also, and I've seen it live, often wore the stars and bars on their trunks. So that's a lot of iconography and a lot of bad press that Warner Brothers Discovery does not want to be promoting on their television product. You do have Google is your friend, everybody. The answers are out there.
Bill tells me that all the time that Google's my friend, but I refuse to use it and use Bill instead. Thanks. But
smart.
You are. So what I was going to say is even though that is a thing, I think this is the first of many title losses for FTR. And I think when their contracts are up in June, they're going to have a really nice circuit around the indies before they eventually come back to AEW. Just like Dak said in his interview with Sean Ross at WrestleCade, I'm picking the Briscoes. Skylar, Team FTR or Team Briscoes?
This is very hard because, again, I agree with both you and Bill. You guys have perfect points of views. Going with that. First, I just want to say I'm very excited for a tag team dog collar match. I've never seen one. I don't know if that's ever happened before, and I think that's really cool. I like dog collar matches. I like any unorthodox matches. I don't think FTR has ever been in one, so I think that's kind of cool. They're going out like they're going the Briscoe way. And I've seen them live, and I see them at Hammerstein Ballroom. They're really good wrestlers. Really like them. Again, I don't know who's gonna win because of this whole Warner Brothers situation, but the FTR has had these titles for a while. I just feel like this whole pay-per-view is just having big names hold these titles and then drop them to like these not undercarders, these unknown wrestlers in this world that if you're not like a big time wrestling fan, they're just casual watchers and everything. So okay. I am undecisive, and we're going with that.
Undecisive.
I don't. This is a tricky one.
Oh no, we're not doing this because when I had my life on the line, when I had to pick between Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, I had to make a choice. So you have to make a choice.
Wow. Spoiler alert. Your life was never in danger. Ever.
See what happens when you have a heel host instead of a babyface host?
Actually,
I mean, aren't you always a heel?
Yeah, wait. Isn't that...
There's actually a lot of people watching, Rob. The ratings are actually increasing now that you have a heel host over a babyface host. So
because of my haircut. But Skylar, you do have to make the choice. You do have to make a choice. As the dad of the podcast, like you have to make a choice.
I'm gonna say Briscoes. I think Tony's gonna be like, whatever. And then only have them on pay-per-views.
Okay. That's an option.
I mean, it's something.
Rob.
So I'll try not to take up too much time. I have a couple questions. Can I shout out the YouTube viewers in the chat real quick, Miss Kimmy? Is that okay?
Sure, I'll allow it.
Thank you so much. Shout out Izzyverse, Izzyverse podcast, great podcast. Said earlier STP is gonna win. Then why take a step backward on the Keith Lee and Swerve storyline? And real quick, Ace in the chat saying Dem Boys for the win. Stupid questions because there's so much wrestling to keep up with. First question: when is the next ROH just pay-per-view event? We have no idea, right?
It would be
we have no idea.
Technically, in theoretically, it would be during WrestleMania season.
Yes.
Long ways away. So
4 months.
Hypothetically, if the Briscoes won, and the real winners here are going to be the match is going to be crazy. But hypothetically, if the Briscoes won and were not used on TV, they would have the titles and kind of a back burner situation until the pay-per-view or indies or whatever. Which I love about AEW is like everyone going to the indies is very cool. Second stupid question. Have FTR won the AEW titles? I'm trying to remember. They have.
Yes, they did once.
During the Empty Arena era.
Yes. Right. It was with the Bucks or something like that, right?
Yeah.
They lost
Correct.
to the Bucks.
Right.
Yeah.
So doing the math here, there's so many factors. And Bill, you bring up great points. Skylar and Kim, you guys bring up great points. I'm trying to do the math here. Like the TV thing, I think is the big, like, take all the storyline out of it, all that stuff. I think that's the big, I don't want to say elephant in the room, but that's the big, at the end of the day, it's a business, you know? So that's where I'm struggling. Basically, my thought is I felt that FTR loss to the Acclaimed was very telling in a way. I think, first of all, it was the correct decision 100%. The Acclaimed are red hot. They deserve it. Bowens is going to be a single star. Max is going to be a single star. Like, it's just win, win, win. It's printing money. They're selling out everything. We just got the micro brawlers. It's money. They're everywhere. Do not take the belts off them anytime soon. And that makes so much sense. But they lost clean, and it was very surprising to me. And then this match kind of comes out of nowhere. And yes, we're selling the pay-per-view. And so many people have said, you know, I had my match of the year poll. Like, what do you guys think? And so many people said Briscoes versus FTR. I still haven't seen it yet, so shame on me. But I know that they're going to, for sure.
What are you waiting for?
Just
time
to have
in
a
his
day
life.
off, to have a day off, honestly, but that's a different story. But I think they're going to take it to the next level because they're like double dog collar match. Now, dog collar matches, they can be rough. Sorry, I had to get that in. That's pun disputed. That being said, it's going to be crazy. I could see Bill's about to leave. I could see someone like, you know, obviously using the dog collar to, you know, use kind of spatial reasoning to prevent a breakup or something, or getting someone tied up or stuck somewhere. That's why I see the end. I see it being clever, the ending. Where I'm struggling is when I saw FTR lose, I'm like, I'm one of those guys that's like, if you have all the belts, like, let's strike while the iron's hot, give them all the belts. But you can't take them off the Acclaimed. You just can't. And that's the right decision. That being said, not that they're holding these titles hostage, but you have all these promotions. It's great for the promotions. It's great business. But at the same time, you do have to kind of slowly undo everything. Is that what we're doing here? Are we slowly undoing it? Because a lot of the conversation right now is Dax Harwood. Dax Harwood. They left the cash off the PWI. They made a mistake, you know, and that's awful, you know? I mean, it happens. It happens. It's a thankless job. But it happens. There's so many wrestlers. Like, that's why I ask all these questions. But that being said, the momentum is behind Dax right now. And I'm not saying, oh, they're going to break up and da-da-da and wrestling cliche, but I'm with you, Sky. I'm stuck. I am struggling with this one right now. If guys, you can help me out in the chat, let me know what you think. I think just because it comes down to the TV thing, FTR retain here, but maybe a miscommunication, maybe some storytelling, maybe some sort of, I'm not saying they're going to break up, but just maybe kind of like, hey, we need to take a break. I don't know what it is, but I feel like the focus is on Dax right now. I'm not doing the wrestling cliche thing. They're going to break up and all this stuff, but I'm struggling with this one, man. But I'll do the safe pick, FTR.
If you want to do a really good double dog collar tag team match, go look for ECW, the Pitbulls versus Raven and Stevie Richards. That, a delight. An absolute delight. I mean, yeah, it is a tough. There's a lot of intrigue that's happening with FTR, and I think that's all done on purpose. I wouldn't be surprised if some of these stories being planted and some of these things being leaked are there to create buzz for the match. It wouldn't shock me.
Which would be really smart on these wrestlers because, like, we know there's so much.
It's like the old school's the new school.
Some lies and be like, yeah, that's the truth.
You never know.
Wrestlers don't lie. Don't lie, right, Rob?
No comment.
Anyway,
that means yes.
We're gonna move on to a really good match that I'm excited for. Samoa Joe versus Juice Robinson. And guys, this is Juice's first match since he's been signed to AEW. So hello, welcome to the company. You're gonna lose in your first match. I'm so sorry. Joe's obviously taking this win. Skylar, I hope you can actually make a decision on this one. Who you got?
Definitely Samoa Joe. I watched some clips of, like, because I didn't really watch Wednesday, but I watched some clips on Wednesday, and everyone was saying how it looks like kind of like in TNA, Samoa Joe is back with his match with Darby.
That was excellent.
Yeah, I saw like some clips. I was like,
so good.
This is dangerous Joe right here. This is actually Joe's gonna kill you kind of Joe. He's definitely gonna win because he has this momentum going, and the fact that he finally turned heel after so long, it's gonna fit right. It's like old Samoa Joe's, but it's Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
Rob?
Yeah, I got to agree with Skylar. You know, we don't want some lesser Joe. We want Samoa Joe. And I think, Nunez
You're
called
out.
it.
I'm going to
Goodbye.
barf. I'm
Goodbye.
going to throw
I love
up.
you, Rob.
Bye.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I think, Nunez called the turn with Joe earlier on, but I don't think any of us, we were at Full Gear. I don't think any of us saw Joe walking out with the titles and being
I thought it
a
was
double
going to
champion.
be Will Hobbs.
Yeah, for sure. I think we predicted him on the show. Welcome in, Bubba John. Let us know who you got. It's crazy, man. Like him winning there and walking around with 2 belts. I'm all for it. I loved it. The crowd loved it. The matches have been great. It's win-win. I thought for sure they were going to get Wardlow into this pay-per-view somehow or something like that. And you bring up a good point too, Kimmy. It's the first match. Guys don't typically lose in their debuts, but I kind of like the against the grain, against the cliches of AEW. I think that's what keeps us interested and keeps us guessing, and all this fantasy booking that we love to do on these podcasts. But that match with Darby was excellent. There's no reason to, why would you stop Joe's momentum right here? Unless you're really going to, push Juice to the moon right out the gate. Wardlow's kind of been surrounding the Joe situation. Obviously, we see it going back to that. I don't see any reason, unless they're super swerving me and I don't know what the payoff is, that Joe loses here.
Well, there are wrestlers that lose in their debut. You got to remember there's a whole kingdom that we're not using and it's not on this card, and they lost in their debut. Let me not.
Great
Bill,
question,
who do you think?
by the way. Shout out Kimmy. What have we been waiting over a year, Bill, to get a little love for those press media calls? Kimmy got it done. First, boom, done. Kimmy's here. Tony. Oh yeah, I'll talk to Kimmy. Yeah, Kimmy's so cool.
Well, no, I'm going to shout out Layla Gray because Layla Gray commented on my Facebook post, and I had told her, I'm like, if you could promise me that I get called on, listen, I'll do whatever you want. So I don't know if that happened, but if it did, listen, little baddie for life.
You baddies stick together. That's it.
Damn right we do.
The Kingdom will be on the pre-show. I guarantee it.
No, they won't. Maria just tweeted that they're not going.
They're swerving you, Kimmy.
Well, she
always
better.
swerves you. She always swerves you.
It's always a work.
Actually, she was really happy, before I get to Bill. She was really happy I asked that question. She was like, you didn't have to do that. Thank you, Kimmy.
I love that.
So, Bill, what do you think's going to happen in this match?
I think this is going to be way better than advertised. I don't think this is going to be a 2-move Samoa Joe squash. I loved what they did with Darby, and I think Juice needs to, get something going here. I mean, Juice is married to Tony Storm, so he's winning in life. So, but I mean, listen, he's going to go out there. I think he's going to have a damn good match, but Wardlow is going to get involved because Tony Khan mentioned something. I don't remember if it was on the call or something he tweeted that they are going to talk about the future of the Ring of Honor television title. I believe they're going to unify the titles. They're going to start condensing. They're going to take the ROH TV title away and merge it with the TNT title. So this way you have the world title and the pure title will be the 2 singles championships. I think you're going to have Samoa Joe eventually is going to drop those belts to Wardlow so he can go challenge for the ROH World Championship. That's what I think is going to happen.
Okay. I saw this theory, was not 100% on board. Still
Well,
not.
The only reason you're not is because it's like Kimmy's guy isn't going to win. And you have to get over this whole like, Seth Rollins and Daniel Garcia doesn't win. It's fucking trash. Like you can't, to be a prognosticator, to be a true broadcast journalist, you have to take emotion out of it.
Listen to Bill.
Now, don't bring up fucking Randy Orton on a podcast, but like, Godspeed. I hope he gets better with his back. Listen, hey, I'm not a complete savage, but I mean, like, listen, just because Danny Garcia is not gonna win the title tomorrow doesn't mean it's a shit pay-per-view. I think he does win, and my theory is if Samoa Joe does win, the best thing for Daniel Garcia's life and career would be to beat an established super heavyweight like Samoa Joe. Only makes him better. Wow, long-term booking right here, right there.
Okay,
Anyway.
You know what? Okay, first of all, Rob, I don't know why you keep showing Orange Cassidy. He's not on the card. He's wrestling later against a person. I'm not going to reveal who it is. Bill was really excited for it. But anyway, let's talk about Daniel Garcia, because what, Skylar?
As long as we're invited to the wedding, that's all I ask.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Daniel Garcia, the man of the hour, who's going to have the match of the night, the match of the whole pay-per-view, who, if you are not nominating his match with Bryan Danielson 2 out of 3 falls on your match of the year, I don't know what you're doing. Daniel Garcia is going to retain his Sphere Championship because he deserves it. He's great. And Wheeler Yuta's going to do other things he has to deal with that whole BCC drama. He has other things to worry about. He's not focused like Daniel Garcia is. He's a focused sport entertainer who is very emotional that Brazil lost in the World Cup today, almost did not get on this flight to Texas. It was a whole thing. Skylar, who do you think is going to win?
Daniel Garcia. And that's because I'm not a fan of Wheeler Yuta. And
what did that steel drum playing son of a bitch ever do to you? He's a wonderful young man.
I don't. He has no charisma, for me personally.
I'm sorry, him bleeding 10 gallons was not enough for you. Wearing white trunks.
It's not the same as Moxley, okay? He will never be the same as Moxley.
Well, yes, we know. I mean, Renee Young would agree with you.
But I always thought Daniel was the better wrestler than Wheeler Yuta. Again, another submission, like another technical wrestler that I should not be a fan of, but I am. And yeah, so Daniel Garcia,
because he's great. He's wonderful, amazing.
He has charisma,
and he's a wonderful sport entertainer. Rob, are you also on Team Daniel Garcia? If you're not, we're kicking you off the show. So be warned.
Thank God, Kimmy.
It's interesting. First of all, no love for Big Wheels. I'm surprised from you guys. Not even a little bit of a recognition or love for Big Wheels. We know Tony. We kind of know where he has his eyes on the independents. I remember seeing Daniel Garcia and Wheeler doing that 1-hour match at IWTV 100 down at H2O.
One of 2 buildings anyone runs for wrestling in New Jersey.
Yeah, the Richfield Park. Yeah,
it's like Richfield Park or Williamstown. It's like, guys, there's plenty of other places.
I think Danny Garcia has to retain here. There is something going on with the BCC. A lot of moving parts. Again, it's another one of those situations where it's, and you guys addressed this on the media call where things are going on, and I think it's a family first decision what's going on with Regal, and I think that was very, very noble and cool of if everything we heard was true of Tony Khan. But I digress. I think it makes sense for Daniel Garcia to win here. Because he's your boy and you're hosting, and I don't want to get kicked off the podcast.
Amazing. I love when I'm in charge. I think I should be in charge way more often.
All right.
And I know that Phil agrees because he's gonna pick
too big.
And he's gonna pick Daniel Garcia right now too.
Big wheels keep on turning. Proud wheeler keep on burning. Will Yuta's gonna win this goddamn title back Why? Why? So many reasons why. Here's first off, we need positive things to be happening with the Blackpool Combat Club. I mean, they took a huge hit with Regal leaving. I mean, let me just give my postmortem on that. We have been robbed of the greatest love story of 2022 between William Regal and Excalibur. We just needed to see them kiss.
Once.
Just once. It's fine. It's fine. They loved each other, and we're not going to see it because Papa A tried to.
He wants to see his son.
Well, sure. His son who looks exactly like him. But yeah, so all that said and done. I think you need to get positive momentum for the BCC because they are going to be the top baby faces across both brands. You know, I think it's going to be Mox and Brian and AEW, Claudio and Wheeler and ROH. I think Daniel Garcia has to lose this title because I think they need to move him into a bigger position. I think transitioning him out of the pure title scene and then having him eventually feud with Jericho. Like, that's the thing. Like, Garcia and Wheeler both had their pushes hard braked. Not because of, you know, some dude leaving the company while he was chomping on a bunch of muffins. That had nothing to do with it. Dick. So it's like, I don't care. I think you need to heat them both back up. What's the best way to do that with Wheeler? People love Wheeler as a wrestler. He was red hot. He was in the Super Junior tournament. Put the belt back on him. Let him matter. The belt will help him. Daniel Garcia needs to lose so Jericho and him could be at odds again, and he needs to break away from Jericho, and that's the catalyst for that. Daniel Garcia doesn't need the pure title. He needs to go become a star. And that's why I'm telling you, your boy needs to go be a star. So when he beats Chris Jericho, and then he beats Samoa Joe in my world, and then he wins the ROH title, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to cry, because he won the title. That's what you want from him. Long term, not short term. There's a lot of money to be made with Daniel Garcia. And these guys are going to be Flair and Steamboat. They're going to fight forever. That's what Wheeler and Garcia are. And it's great.
See, I don't have, like, me and patience. No.
Don't become a doctor.
Me and pressure.
That's the one. I'll give you that one.
Thank you.
I'll give you that one.
No, stop. It was in my rules to you of things you couldn't do.
Sorry.
You couldn't do puns. You couldn't host.
That's like telling him he can't breathe. He can't breathe. It's like, Rob, don't do puns. Don't breathe.
That's all I got.
Don't see your Italian girlfriend. Don't do any of this. Don't text Nunez. It's just like, these are things he has to do.
Yes.
I mean, he doesn't have to. There's no laws, rules.
Well, you just said there's rules he can't have. He can't do.
I always have to text Nunez. We're missing Nunez on it. We're missing that charisma. Sorry.
No, that fucking blew. That was awful.
That's Vax.
Okay,
that's Vax. Back to you, Kimmy.
I mean,
Good.
He would have said it better.
Yes, true.
Of course. We're going to talk about something way more interesting than puns, because puns are boring. Puns are stupid, and that's why Rob is not hosting this podcast. We are going to be talking about the Ring of Honor women.
I am on Rob's side.
I'm just flabbergasted at what's happening right now.
We are going to talk about the Ring of Honor. Okay, you know what? I almost walked off the last podcast I did because I was doing really bad, and I might do it here too. But we're going to talk about the Ring of Honor Women's Championship match. This is the match I'm most excited for because of all the work I've done with the Ring of Honor Women's Division and because Maria has done such a good job. And I can't wait to see, hopefully, what she does here. But obviously, Athena is going to win. My friend, the one and only, is going to get the Ring of Honor Women's Championship because her heel turn is fantastic, amazing, beautiful, and should have been featured on Dynamite. Rob, do you agree with me?
Oh, he's got personal stakes in that one.
Bill, do you know me? Or dude, this guy, like, we didn't even talk for a week. He's like, "What's wrong?" This guy, he just knows me. He knows me.
I know.
He knows me.
I know. He's bitter.
He reads my mind.
Bitter bastard over there.
That being said, and everything I'm saying, I'm choosing my words carefully. Everything has been pre-approved. So the story with Athena, I think, has been very well done. I did get to see it unfold a little bit earlier because someone that I know very well, who cooks delicious meals and is right now defending her ISPW Women's Championship against
You're
Team
not
San
there?
Antonio. I'm not there. I'm not
What?
there tonight. I'll be at the holiday party. Don't worry. I know.
Oh,
But, she's got look, they're just lying around. They're everywhere. I mean, they're just lying around. She's got titles everywhere. She's busy. But she did have the opportunity to take on Athena. So we saw this play out a little bit, and Athena beat the heck out of her. I'm like, Vicky, you didn't even try to pin her? Come on. But that being said, it was a great match, and I was very proud, and it was a great day. And yes, I'm getting my stuff in, and I apologize for that. But that being said, we saw a little bit of the Athena turn before everybody else saw it. And she beat the heck out of Vicky. After the match, she locked in Mercedes finisher on Vicky. Everyone's booing, and I'm talking to Vicky on the ride home, like, this is great, man. Like, it wasn't just like a blow-off match. Like, you were part of this angle, and like right then and there, they were laying into she's really laying into her opponents, and they're playing that up. And it was very, very cool. And we saw how that all unfolded that Friday on Rampage. She had hit Aubrey, and it was very good storytelling. It was very, very
bad
good.
shit.
Yeah, and that was
really good.
That really got the heat. That was obviously on live television. Then retroactively, Athena had been suspended, and we saw how it played out. But that being said, personal feelings aside, I think it's been a really good story. She just had a great interview on Busted Open. And I don't want to take away, we're like Athena, but don't want to take away anything from Mercedes. But she hasn't really been around the past couple weeks on television. Correct me if I'm wrong.
She's been hurt.
She got hurt.
Okay, well, there you go. But she's ready to go for
Yes.
tomorrow. Well, that's great, and I hope she's okay. Another reason, she might need some more time to heal up a little bit better. I think Athena, it just makes all the sense in the world. She's got the momentum. She's a little bitter. They're playing into this a lot. The personal stakes as well. I think this is the big payoff for some really good storytelling.
Bill.
I love that this whole story was based off of a whole bunch of concerned police on Twitter being like, clutch my pearls, she hit someone hard. And it was basically, she said on Busted Open and on other interviews, she's like, if I was a dude, no one would have cared. They would have been like, you're awesome. But it's just like, let's fuck with the patriarchy a little bit on this one and just say, hey, she's going to beat everybody up. And I think this is the right move to put it on Athena. Mercedes is, she has had a lot of injuries, and I don't know what her status with AEW or Ring of Honor is. I wouldn't be surprised if she started producing too, being an agent for AEW or coach, whatever they call them, and ROH. But Athena is like the right face because this is a fresh take on this person, on this character, and she can go forward and defend it against people. And ultimately, she needs to drop the title to Willow Nightingale because that's the perfect ultimate heel, ultimate babyface collide. It'll be great. Yeah, I think Athena's the right choice because I just think we've never seen her like this. So I'm pretty excited to see that go forward because they've caught lightning in a bottle with her, and I like that.
Skylar.
Okay, so I work with Mercedes, and I love Mercedes. But the problem is, I do see Athena winning it. And Bill, get out of my head, because I was thinking the same thing with Willow. I was like, oh, get the ultimate heel versus baby. That would be so good. Athena could carry this title. Oh, but Mercedes didn't have enough chance to show herself that much on TV, even though Tony Khan sucks with the women division on TV. She still could have tried to show her way. But I gotta choose Athena because I do think she can really raise these women and take this new aggression to a whole new level. Show that she a woman, she don't care what you think. She can punch hard and still hate your guts. And also seeing her knock out Aubrey live. Yeah. Me and Kimmy were right there. Had no idea that was gonna happen. I was like, Aubrey took that like a pro. But yeah, so I think Athena's gonna take it, and it's
If I could sidetrack for 1 second, Kimmy, and you'll appreciate why I'm going to sidetrack. And I would love to get actually everyone's opinion on this. where do you see? And Scott, I think the AEW women's division, just in my opinion, has gotten a lot better over the past, like, especially with you put Tony Storm as your workhorse, and now Jamie Hayter, forget about it. But where do you see the Ring of Honor women's division? Like, what do you see that? How do you guys see that developing? Because right now, the women's division is legit 2 women.
No.
It's Athena and Mercedes. Who do you think there's people who are going over? Like, what do you guys see the future of that?
Skylar could go
you've raised your
first.
hand.
Yeah, everyone's pointing different way. Not have Tony Khan run it.
No. I was saying that, but I'm just saying, like, do you think they're going to bring talent-wise? They're going to bring new people in. Like, how do you see this evolving?
I think they're gonna bring in people who they use a lot on like Dark and Rampage and bring them over. That they aren't used as much on as Dynamite. I think that would be a smart idea. So it's more platforms to show. Like Dark is really good. Like people, like these wrestlers don't care if they're on Dark or Elevation. Thank you. But I think them being kind of brought to more like a more televised thing could help them.
And Kimmy, I mean, you wrote about it all the time.
Oh, I was gonna go last.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I was gonna go last. Rob.
She's driving today. Yeah, that's a great question. It's hard to answer because we don't like. It's hard to like pick the roster, like because we say something. Oh, there's only a couple tag teams, like because we don't have any set format or show or weekly episodic or pay-per-view schedule. So that it's hard for me to base it. If I'm fantasy booking, Vita would love to see Vita. In there. And I like what Skylar said, like get a lot of the dark talent. We have so much great talent here in the Northeast. Kylan King is killing it out there. I think that would be really cool. And I think the ultimate answer, though, is first you need some sort of format or schedule. And the second answer is Maria Kanellis. Put that in her hands.
I think so, too. I wouldn't be shocked if that happens.
This is what you do. You hire me and Maria. We take it on together. That's the first thing you do.
Get your stuff in.
The second thing you do is every single person that was in that Ring of Honor Women's Tournament that is not signed.
Ooh, I forgot who was in there.
Trisha Dora.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You put all of that talent in this women's division. You put the WWA talent that Maria has there. You put them here. This is what you do. This is how you build a division. But most importantly, you hire me and Maria. We do it. We take the world by storm, and I get hired, and I don't have to go to school anymore. So that works out perfectly for me.
Kimmy, aren't you almost done?
Yeah, I mean, you have like
you
10 minutes left.
See it through at least. You come this far.
You have like 10 minutes left of school.
Oh my God, wait, I didn't tell you because you were in Disney that I applied for graduation. I've officially applied.
Oh man, there's some people on this list I would never want to see wrestle in AEW. Never mind. You know who I would get?
Who?
Your girl, Rob, Lady Frost. That's who I would get. That's who I get.
I mean, arguably, next to Vicious Vicky, of course. Arguably one of the hottest free agents out there in terms of just being a high flying, dude, one of the greatest high flying wrestlers.
That cartwheel, just Kryptonite Crunch is stupid good.
I agree with that. I feel like we need like more high flyer women wrestlers on TV.
Yeah,
because it's just hard hitting. There's too many of them now.
It's a lot of the same.
The high flyers, especially in AEW.
But she's the persona. I've worked so many events where she's had the longest lines at intermission. Like everyone wants to meet later. She's a good guy. She's a bad guy. It doesn't matter. And then the in-ring work, we've had her on the show. She says she likes really crisp in-ring work, and you see it in every single match. I think that would be a no-brainer for AEW or ROH.
I still think they really beefed it when they didn't sign her and Lindsay Snow and called them Sub-Zero. Would have been great. Would have been great. But or Janai Kai too. She's great.
That's what I'm saying. Sign her. See.
Genocide. I'll throw Genocide in there too. Love her.
She might be with Billy right now, so I don't know how free she is.
True.
She's within the alliance, as we say.
Great question though. And Kimmy, shout out to you for taking that Tony Khan press conference or scrum or whatever, that phone call, and shining the spotlight on women's wrestling. I thought that was very cool.
Well, shout out Bill. He's the one that got me on.
I was like, hey, you're up to play. You're up to the plate. You're up to bat. Get in there. Do your thing.
And then you had to see the email had sent to my teacher because I was like, yeah, I'm not going to class. Sorry.
There you go. All good. So, Kimmy, what other matches we got?
The main event. It is main event time.
Really?
Yes, we went through all 7 of them. Yes, we did. You could even fact check me. I'm not like Rob who has to like ask my panelists.
I wanted to
do
yell
the
at you
extra
so bad,
work.
like, no, we have one more, like you always do to me.
No,
But
because like I said, I'm a very experienced. I have research. I'm in a notebook. Unlike you, who has Wikipedia in a tab and is like, "Oh my God, here's our matches."
I do that all the time with movie plots and casts. It's like,
Bill, you weren't supposed to say that. You were supposed to be on my side.
I'm
Anyway.
just speaking for myself. Put myself over is what I'm doing.
Anyway, it's the main event. It's Jericho and Claudio. Phil, who do you got?
I'm just going to ramble for 1 second and say Chris Jericho, a lot of people hated the fact they put the belt on him, but man, he has had the 2022 of all 2022s, man. He has had a great year. I think he's done great stuff with the Ring of Honor title. The match with Bandito was fantastic. Ishii, Dalton. There's been a Colt. Like, there's been some really good things that he did this year. And it's wild that he's like in his 50s and he's like totally being the Terry Funk that CM Punk wishes he was. I'm sorry. Not sorry. But I think Claudio wins the belt here. And I had a hard time coming up with that too, because like it was just like for business, like why wouldn't you want Claudio and Jericho? Like why wouldn't you want Jericho as your champion on your first Ring of Honor show? I know there is a lot of discussion whether we'll get an announcement on TV at the end of this, because it might end up just going to Honor Club. Because like they just canned a whole bunch of people at Warner Bros. Discovery again today. Merry Christmas. And so I think it's going to be Claudio, because I think they're going to go with a more wrestling-based type deal. And I just do think Claudio and Samoa Joe is the match you want. That's the match that's really going to sell for Ring of Honor fans. Chris Jericho and Samoa Joe will be good too, but I think like Claudio and Joe, the visual of Claudio like hefting Joe and doing the big swing on Joe doing the big moves on Claudio, I think would be really cool. Now you could do a number 1 contenders, Jericho and Joe, whatever, but I think there's a lot of money to be made with Joe and Claudio as the thing. I think Jericho needs to move on. What he moves on to is, I don't know, but I think you take the belt, put it back on Claudio. I think the BCC needs that positive. Like I said, they're going to be the babyface anchors of the 2 promotions with Claudio and Wheeler in Ring of Honor, and Mox and Bryan in AEW. I wouldn't be shocked if we see Nigel McGuinness show up in Ring of Honor to work with the Blackpool Combat Club. I would like that a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some debuts and some returns and some stuff here, but I don't think that happens in the main event. I think Jericho takes the L here, and it's going to be a good match. I'm very excited for it.
I agree. I think Claudio wins, but do not be surprised if Jericho is on that first TV episode of Ring of Honor so we can spike up those ratings. Rob.
Yeah, this is a tricky one. I was listening to Busted Open's interview with Claudio today, and yeah, it was really insightful. And again, don't forget, if Claudio loses, he joins the Jericho Appreciation Society, which would be a lot of fun, man.
But it's the same thing they're doing with Matt Hardy and Private Party.
Took the words right out of my. That's where I was going with. Yeah, exactly. Right. And I don't like seeing the same thing. That being said, though, you have the history with Hager. That would have been really fun. They've teased at it a little bit. It's fun, silly stuff. This isn't like wrestling or accomplishments. This is the fun little like subplot, kind of fun backstage stuff. It could be really fun in the ring too. I'm not gonna lie. But like you said, Bill, already, like they're kind of doing it with Ethan Page and the Hardy Party. I I wasn't going to pick Jericho to retain at Full Gear, and you guys all convinced me like, hey, we got this pay-per-view coming up. It's the business decision, and I agreed with you and Warren, and I was like, yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. So keep it on Jericho.
Agreed with Warren.
So I think we have, you guys are pretty smart and handsome. So I think now that Jericho has gotten us to this point, and like you said, Bill, he's knocked it out of the park. I love that he's going after the announcers and he's going after anything ROH. Like he made it his own. And he's made it work. And I was very confused at how quickly Claudio had lost the title. But again, I think it was all leading up to this pay-per-view. We're going to have a great match. We're going to have a really, really good match. And I think the right call here is to put it on Claudio. Does that, again, I hate to be like cliche, like all these teams and they fight, but that we've seen wrestling before. I would love to see Claudio and Danielson.
Yeah.
Skylar, this is what happens when you go last. I'm sorry.
Listen.
I love it. I love the because I
wanted Skylar to have the big main event, the big ending, all your theories. That's what I wanted. Then Rob had to ruin it. God damn it, Rob. Unbelievable.
Ruin it. He didn't ruin it.
Great minds.
Exactly. Great minds think alike.
So bestie, go right ahead. Bring us home.
So yeah, I was going back and forth on it, and I was like, oh, Jericho might keep it just for like the TV show. Oh god. Anyway, just for the TV show. But I was like, the only reason he had Jericho have this title is for the pay-per-view views. For them to go up. The whole Claudio versus Jericho for the views. I think Claudio is gonna win. And it is going to lead to Danielson versus Claudio because I know Bob said, not Bob. Wow. Wow. I cannot.
I mean, it's BCP. Bob works.
No, I know. Bill.
My middle name is Robert. So
that's different.
It's just long day at work. Sorry.
I said something smart. It's okay. I get what you're saying.
Oh, no. I was saying, Bill thinks it's going to be like a whole happy thing. I think their club is going to break up. I think John Moxley finally needs to go on his stupid vacation.
He's earned it.
I think it's time. I think Brian's going to turn heel. And I think he's going to verse Claudio. And then Yuta's just going to be there.
Not that Yuta's just going to be there. God damn.
But it will make sense. I think there needs to be a turning point with Regal gone. I don't think there should the whole thing was based around Regal,
That's why I think Nigel could come in and fill that.
True, but I just have a feeling it's just going to be a whole blow up, and then
I think it does happen. Yeah.
Yeah, so I do think we're going to get Brian versus Claudio in the future, along with Samoa Joe in there somewhere. I think, but yeah, so Claudio's going to win. Jericho's just there for the ratings, and then Jericho's going to go back to his sports entertainment on Dynamite.
That's pretty good.
Part of the full-blooded Italians? What happened there? I'll ask a question like I did before, because again, this is, Kimmy, as she mentioned at the top, is like, hey, there's a lot of people that are signed that we don't know are part of Ring of Honor. Do we expect any surprises or any, wild theories of who could show up at this show? Even people who may be signed to AEW already that we know about. Do you guys think we're going to get any cameos, any surprises?
Nigel will be there in some form or fashion, and he will be assigned the role as the booker of Ring of Honor to take that off of Tony Khan's plate.
Oh, wow. That's very specific.
Yeah, right?
Very specific.
I don't know anything.
I'm going to say Chris Hero. His name's been thrown around way too much recently. Like Jericho wanted to bring him or PCO in to fight him during that series. I don't know if Hero is ready to go in the ring. He hasn't wrestled in like 2 or 3 years. But I feel like if there's ever a time to bring him in, it's that time. And I wouldn't be stunned if we saw someone from New Japan at some point, or AAA, show up in some respect, because I think Tony Khan, Kimmy, you might know this, Did Tony Khan say that he was going to talk about some Forbidden Door stuff in regards to Ring of Honor at this show?
He said the TV deal, and
but then
he said
that was another interview then. So I think there might be some New Japan talent showing up. So I wouldn't be stunned, and I think that would be pretty cool.
I was thinking of Adam Cole, but not for like because I don't know if he's ready to wrestle or not, but like just.
Do you bring him back for Ring of Honor though? Not
He's
AEW.
starting Ring of Honor too.
Yeah.
Just as like a face or whatever. If he's ready to come back, then he shows back up in AEW. But like, I don't think his surprise is gonna be like his comeback. Him coming back is gonna be a big surprise. I think it's gonna get blown in like the dirt sheets. So might as well just put on Ring of Honor. Wait a couple more months for speculation.
All right.
Kyle O'Reilly, just all the not
Rob.
Bobby Fish because he said let's go back to the WWE and no one.
Bob Fish, everybody. What a guy. What a guy.
I think, Bill, you knocked it out of the park with Nigel. I popped for that. I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I don't know what his status is elsewhere, but
he's
done.
fully done with WWE.
It makes sense.
No ties.
Guy would be great on commentary. Guy would be great as a leader. Yeah, so many things he could do. Silly question: has Chris Hero ever fought Chris Jericho?
No.
He was Claudio's tag team partner though.
Yeah, well, I
Kings of
remember seeing
Wrestling.
them at the old ice skating rink or the old roller rink in Edison. I remember
2 minutes from my childhood home.
Yeah, man, and I remember the first time I saw him, there's some Jericho comparisons a little bit. So that's interesting that they've never fought. That would be very interesting.
That's all. You don't have like a prediction. Nothing.
I think Bill really popped me with Nigel, and I think he's right about that. I wasn't really like planning on debuts and stuff, but it is a very Tony Khan thing, and I'm not complaining. I mean, if you know wrestling this day and age, we're always waiting for the surprise. We're always waiting for the turn. We're always waiting for something. So why not?
Okay, so it is now time for our shameless promo. Oh my god, yay! Skylar, go first.
You can see me at conventions. Hi. You can see me at conventions with Damage 365.
Damage 365.
It's been a long day, Kimmy. I work at 8 a.m. tomorrow. It's a lot. With Damage 365, you can see me at conventions with them. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok if you want on Skylar __ Nicole. Yeah.
Beautiful.
That 24-year-old. It's here.
That was 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. Bill, tell us about the pop break.
If you must follow me on Twitter, it's at BodkinWrites, WRITES. Otherwise, check out thepopbreak.com every single day, talking about all sorts of great stuff: movies, television, music, pro wrestling, anime, comic books, and a whole podcast network. If you're looking for anything I've written, check out my piece on the Great British Bake Off Holiday Season 5. And then on Monday, you'll check out my Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special review, and I'll have an Andor piece. I'll have all sorts of good stuff. I'm also the co-host of the Socially Distanced Podcast, which drops every single Friday on your favorite streaming platform. We are entering our holiday special triumvirate of episodes. We're going to be talking about the Star Wars 1978 Christmas special. Our podcast editor, Alex, has never seen Die Hard, so we're going to make him watch that. And then we're going to have the Socially Distanced Awards, which we are going to probably make up on the fly. And then I'm also the co-host of the Bill versus the MCU podcast on the Breakcast, where I this last year rewatched and watched for the first time a lot of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We just announced a season 2 where we're going to be talking about the Netflix series. Also, oh shit, that's right, the season finale, which is our the Feigees, we're calling them, where we give random ass awards out for Marvel stuff, is coming out on December 22nd on the Breakcast feed on all your favorite podcast platforms. I'm also going to be working the Southwest Territory. I'm going to be teaming up with Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. Going to be having a hot feud with Fantastics. A lot of blood, a lot of double juice, coast to coast, motherfucker. Here we go. Let's do it. Kimmy, tell us about every goddamn thing you're doing, because it's so much. There's so many things. It's a virtual smorgasbord of pop culture things.
Yeah, I know. That's going to lead to a text between you and I in the end of December. So you can follow me on Twitter. You know what it's going to be, though.
Oh, yeah. I'm like your teacher next year, and I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. Yeah.
Yeah, guys, I'm taking the journalism class with Professor Bakken next semester. I'm so excited. Me and you are going to get an A. All you have to do, I'm going to tell you right now, all you have to do is publish my articles. That is it. It is the easiest. Yep. Okay, cool. But you can follow me on Twitter at Kimmy_Sokol, SOKOL. The next convention I am working. It is the last convention of the year. It is the Icons of Wrestling next weekend. Oh, no, it's this. No, I'm right. It's next weekend. Okay. You know what? It's been, no, it's been 4 hours. It's been a very hard 4 hours. At the 2300 Arena, which is the old ECW arena, and I am working with ECW legend RVD. Yeah. I write for the Pop Break. In case y'all didn't get that, you can read Kimmy versus Bill for Ring of Honor predictions, and I'm gonna replace him with Mike every month because he actually does a really good job with the article and he does it on time, unlike Mike. And you can also
I'm going to overrule that and just say Mike's going to keep doing it because Bill doesn't always have the time, and Mike is a fantastic writer, so I'd like him to continue to do that. So that's going to be overruled right now. But tell us about all the other stuff you're doing.
I was just going to say I'm the co-host of Elite POV. That's it. Go,
No,
Rob.
but you're not just there's multiple shows on Elite POV you're going to be hosting. Is that not true?
It is, but people get mad when I take 10 minutes on my shameless promo. Robert.
Wow,
he's fine.
Foaming.
He's fine.
Oh boy. Well, real quick.
It's not your turn yet. Wait. So you can see the K-Score Observer every month starting in February. We're only limiting our episodes to once a month, where Kyle and I are talking all about rumors, speculations, inside scoops. Yay. Then, as announced today on the Elite POV Twitter, Rank the Week, where Phil and I are rating all your favorite Rampage and Dynamite segments of what was good and what was really shitty. And I think that's it. Oh, well, okay. Goddess of Wrestling, February 25th. You're going to see Christmas time. You're going to see me promoting a hell of a lot of shit for that because there's things coming that I can't say yet, but things are coming.
Am I good? I don't want to get yelled at.
Yes, you can go. Okay, right. Thanks, Rob, for letting me host your podcast.
Rob, why don't you tell us about a little thing called the Pop Culture Podcast?
Yeah, the little BCP. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Subscribe on YouTube. We're trying to build the YouTube channel as well. And check out our interview from earlier this week, Contest of Champions. We got to sit down with some cool people. I'm writing a piece for Pop Break as well. We're just waiting for some photos to come in. Very excited for that. We got to see Sting. And I got to sit down with one of my favorites, which is why I love doing this. One of my favorites, JTG from Crime Time. We got to sit down and talk to JTG. We also got, for a second time, got to sit down and talk to Nunzio, my dude, talking about the FBI earlier, Bill. We talked to the Rep, one of the best can somebody sign these guys, please? One of the best unsigned tag teams out there. And Jared Silberkleit, who's managing Wrecking Ball Legursky. So we got some really good interviews coming up. And then Sunday, we have the ISPW holiday party. I think there's a buffet. There's going to be awards. I believe it is open to the public. So follow ISPW to find out how you can be a part of that. And that's all I got, guys.
Well, first of all, happy wrestling, everybody. And I don't know the whole spiel. So, yeah. Yay, we're done. Rob, you could say it, I guess. I don't know the whole
I was going to say make it your own. Like, you could have, like, a Kimmy sign off. I feel like it's going to be a jab at Mike or something.
Oh, I was just going to say happy wrestling, because that's an Ian Riccaboni reference, you know, Ring of Honor commentary.
Happy wrestling.
Happy wrestling, guys. We out. Peace.